My other fact is, let's check all the way back to Greece now. We've been back and forth, back and forth.
What's the Greek airline? Does it have one still?
Oh no, I don't know. Malacca.
Hellas, isn't everything Greek? Just
probably.
Hellas.
Yeah.
Bless you, Greeks.
Probably, yeah.
Don't switch off.
So mine actually goes back. I mean, I suppose it's quite nice that we kind of go cyclic with mine, because I spoke about the Epic of Gilgamesh first. So now I'm speaking about Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey. And and obviously the Iliad and the Odyssey are two epic poems that have to do with the Trojan War.
Yeah.
Right. So the one's about the adventures of Achilles, and the other one is about Odysseus and his journey home from the war. But classicists now believe that these two may have either stood alone by themselves, or they may have been part of what's called the epic cycle. And the epic cycle was allegedly 10 of these kind of huge epic poems that told the history of the Trojan War. And the other 8 are supposedly lost. We don't know really anything about them. The names for those other ones are the Cypria, the Aethopus, the Little Iliad, the Eleupersus, the Nostol, and the Telegony. And we know that the Telegony was written, that somebody from Sparta.
But these things that you've mentioned don't exist.
They don't exist, but we know.
Got names for them.
But we know because there's references to them. In the but we don't actually have the texts for them. Yeah. So and we know that the Telegony was written by a Spartan. Well, at least he was the one that was generally accepted as having written them. So we know that if these 10 poems do go together, that all the authors were different. That the people who created them, that passed them down kind of orally, were different. And that Homer's 2 may just have been the most popular ones. They may not have been part of the epic cycle, but that's the fact.
So the fact is, you're talking about
the
this
fact
epic
is
cycle.
that Homer's Iliad and Odyssey may not have been standalones. They may have been sequels and parts of a much greater project.
Okay. I've got the Iliad, and I'm about halfway through. I read it a little bit every now and again. It's like the Bible's next to my bed. So is the Iliad. And every now and again, I just
love that
that
ancient mythology.
Yeah, but I've even got a lovely collection of short stories and a book, and those are the kind of books you can just read a bit, and just let it speak to you, or go like, what do you think about this?
Right.
Yeah, it's lovely. I think you're probably making this up, because I think they're quite defined in their tone and style, and they're quite sure it was Homer, one author, and they think it is pretty. I think it's dated to about 500 BC actually, and it was, Alexander the Great talking about sacred texts, and how someone would maybe hold a religious person in Western culture would hold the Bible close to their heart, or sleep it under their pillow, and it was just their book. It's in every hotel, thanks to the Gideons and stuff. But Alexander the Great had the Iliad under his pillow.
Right.
Yeah, I did a little course on Alexander.
Nice.
And on Dante's Inferno. So I know.
Okay.
So I'd say that they were pretty certain as to their origins, and it's not part of a missing bunch of texts. No.
Okay, so I mean, the tricky thing about this, and I'm going to give it to you either way, because the tricky thing is it's undefined, right? There are classicists who believe that the Iliad and the Odyssey are part of the epic cycle, and there are others who believe that it's not. I mean, for instance, you say, it's pretty well known that Homer wrote both of these, the Iliad and the Odyssey, but there is some evidence to suggest that he didn't necessarily write the Iliad.
Really?
Yeah, that there was help. I mean, these things, I think it's the Odyssey is like 12,500 lines of poetry. It's a lot to remember. It's a lot to be able to recite and to recount. So it's possible that it makes sense if you think about it. If each of these are 12,000 lines, to know 120,000 lines off by heart and be able to recite them and tell the whole story as one person and to write that's just on another level. So yeah, when you look at these, they may very well have fitted together. You know, look at the Odyssey. Look at what it's about. You know, it's somebody coming back from the war.
Yes.
And then.
But he took the land route, didn't he?
Well, he has all the adventures with the Cyclops. You know, they.
Oh, he did have some
and
boat route because the siren.
That's right, the sirens and the Siler and all that sort of stuff, and then they crash on the.
It's like I know I'm driving past teasers now, so
yeah.
time
If
my
you guys,
next.
if you guys just time me here and
when I see the bright lights saying entrance only 55 rand for today.
Yeah, free buffet.
Tie my hands to the steering wheel. I'm gonna carry on.
That's right. I have to get home to my wife. It's taken me 11 years so far. We can't afford to stop here, gents. But I want to have a bit of a look. Yeah. but yeah. So apparently it could be a part of a much greater work that we've in fact lost. Yeah. I mean, why not? Why not? As I say, you can have it either way because it is still a debated thing. But I just thought it was really interesting.